A jungle, a river, a line drawn by men who never set foot there. This was where it began. 20 years of war, millions of lives lost. A war that divided two nations at once. This is the Vietnam War. For a century, Vietnam wasn't its own. It belonged to France, a colony called French Indochina. Among the resistors was a young nationalist. His name was Ho Chi Minh. World War II shattered French control. In 1945, Ho Chi Minh seized the moment. He declared Vietnam independent. France had other plans. Colonial troops came back to reclaim it. 8 brutal years of guerrilla war followed. In 1954, at Dien, France suffered a war-ending defeat. At Geneva, Vietnam was split in two: North Communist, South Anti-Communist. Reunification elections were promised. They never came. Washington feared a chain reaction. If Vietnam fell, the region might follow. The U.S. backed South Vietnam's leader, Ngo Dien Diem. His persecution of Buddhists shocked the world. In the South, a new insurgency rose, the Viet Cong. American advisors arrived to help hold the line. A few hundred became a few thousand. In 1963, Diem was overthrown and killed. Stability did not follow. In August 1964, a disputed clash occurred. It happened in the Gulf of Tonkin. Congress handed the president sweeping war powers. No formal declaration of war was ever made. March 1965, Marines waded ashore at Da Nang. The war had officially become America's own. Within 3 years, 500,000 troops were deployed. Operation Rolling Thunder began, a campaign meant to break the North's will. On the ground, a different kind of enemy waited, one that vanished into the jungle itself. The Viet Cong built vast tunnel networks, entire hidden cities buried beneath the battlefield. Every step forward was a gamble. Helicopters became this war's defining machine, carrying troops in, carrying the wounded out. To strip the jungle's cover, a chemical was unleashed, Agent Orange. Its toll would last generations. Early 1968, commanders spoke of victory. Then came Tet. Even the U.S. Embassy came under direct attack. The images reached American living rooms instantly. Militarily, the offensive failed. The losses were staggering. Politically, it was a different story. Anti-war protests exploded across the country. In March 1968, Johnson made a stunning announcement. He would not run for re-election. That same month, a dark chapter unfolded. The massacre at My Lai, a tragedy the nation could not ignore. 1969, a new president took office. Nixon promised peace with honor. His plan was called Vietnamization, shift the fighting south, bring the troops home. But secretly, the war widened. Bombs fell on neutral Cambodia and Laos. News broke, protests erupted nationwide. At Kent State, some of those protests turned fatal. In 1971, leaked documents changed everything. The Pentagon Papers, years of official deception exposed. Public trust had never felt thinner. And still, the Ho Chi Minh Trail kept flowing. Resilient, unbroken, impossible to fully stop. In Paris, peace talks dragged on for years, stalled again and again over who would rule the South. December 1972, an intense bombing campaign over Hanoi. It pushed the North back to the table. January 1973, the Paris Peace Accords were signed. American combat troops would withdraw completely. By March, the last of them were gone. But the war between North and South wasn't over. Without American support, the South began to buckle. City after city fell in early 1975, faster than anyone in Washington had predicted. By April, the enemy closed in on Saigon. Panic gripped the capital. A frantic evacuation began, rooftop by rooftop. The last Americans and thousands of Vietnamese allies lifted out. April 30th, 1975, tanks crashed through the palace gates. Saigon had fallen. For the first time in decades, Vietnam was whole, united under a single communist government. Hundreds of thousands fled by sea in the years that followed. The world came to know them as the boat people. Those tied to the old government faced harsh treatment. Many spent years in re-education camps. Back home, veterans returned to a divided country. 58,000 American names are etched in black granite, a solemn reminder of the cost at home. In Vietnam, the toll was staggering. 2 to 3 million dead, generations affected by chemical warfare. Today, Vietnam is a rapidly growing nation, reunified, transformed, increasingly connected to the world. In America, the war reshaped politics for generations. Trust in government would never fully recover. Veterans on both sides still carry this war with them. Fought once on battlefields, fought again in memory. The Vietnam War taught a painful lesson. Even the mightiest military cannot dictate the will of a people defending home. This was the Vietnam War, a war without a single front line, a peace that took a generation to arrive.